to know, isn't it, that even our late and wonderful monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, our reigning monarch for 70 years, could still actually make people, shall we say, well, politely, particularly in the case of Meghan, go nuclear. Exactly, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil. Sean here. Nice to see you today. I hope you're all keeping well. Thank you also for your very kind comments about that recent story regarding the missing James Bond. Yes, John Gavin. Fascinating story, isn't it? A lot of people were saying, oh, but you know, to get £40,000. Let me tell you, £40,000 in 1971 would be about the equivalent, really, of £1 million. You know, if you think about it with inflation and things, possibly more now. So it's not a bad day's work. And yes, people are saying, poor guy, you know, he didn't get an opportunity. Well, he did, you know, and it's not really his fault or their fault. They decided to return back to Sir Sean Connery. They felt that Diamonds Are Forever, I think it was the movie, was the one that was going to make a lot of money back. A little bit like, of course, our beleaguered story of the day regarding, of course, none other than those two ex-royals out in Montecito. A lot of people, you know, want to know exactly what was the tipping point for Harry and Meghan, and there were so many, really. It's all down to jealousies, isn't it? You know, what seeps through and through with their story. And that's not just Prince Harry, but it's simply Meghan Markle. If you watch very early videos of her taken by father Thomas Markle, you can see the jealousy, the sort of attention, neediness in her eyes. You can see it. Whatever he does, it's not enough. There's a wonderful thing where he's suggesting to her that they can go horse riding, and she says, what, again? I mean, you know, for a young child, that says one thing: spoiled, doesn't it? And that, of course, is something that Prince Harry has personally excelled at. But really, there was one turning point, I've been told by a very good source, which set, of course, Meghan Markle simply to go nuclear in her advance to try and attack the British monarchy and hopefully, in her eyes, bring the monarchy down. And it was this particular situation because, as we now know, Meghan feels that she had no support within the monarchy. Nobody was reaching out to her, asking her if she was okay. The list is endless, you know. Never mind this particular lady herself, you know, who at that point recently lost her beloved husband of 70 years. No, never mind him or her. It's all about me, right, Meghan? But apparently it was this particular phrase that set her off. Exactly. The one we all know and cherish and admire. Recollections may vary. This simply stems from the fact that, you know, Meghan felt, along with Harry, they were being called outright liars by, of course, the top of the monarchy. Now, you can take it either way, each way you want. You know, I think the Queen's remark was in fact spot on. We all have stories, we all have recollections, and yes, they all simply vary once you sit down and discuss it. One version is totally different to the other person's memory. It just happens in real life. What a great put down, though, bottom line. And this, according to a very good source, truly was the tipping point. And at that point, let me tell you, that was also the point where Meghan decided that she then really was a no holds bar. She could then decide what she was going to say and what she was going to do. The only reason she inserted that very kind comment, and as ever we have to say allegedly, regarding our late and beautiful monarch Queen Elizabeth into that variety chat was simply this: you know, she knows the public mood is definitely with her. She's savvy enough to know that. I don't think she'll ever publicly come out and attack the Queen, certainly not yet at least, but you know, possibly give it time. But the bottom line is, you know, the fact that she was upset to the point, incandescent with rage, is what I was told by a very good source, and Harry had to do something. And this is now what you're seeing unfolding. So really, one might say it was, of course, the late Queen that set Meghan to simply explode in her own, well, shall we say, how can we put this nicely, her own web of truth. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.